What's up everyone? So I've got a 2019 Tacoma here. I bought this back in 2019, brand new. It's got about 75,000 miles on it. Put a supercharger on it about 2 years ago, and due to a bad tune from Yoda Works, I got an imbalance code on cylinder 6. So went through the motions, compression and everything. Compression was pretty low on all the cylinders, but the big issue was cylinder 6. During a leak down test, it was showing about 60 psi of loss through the crankcase. So it sat for about a year in the yard waiting for me to get it to this point. Pulled the engine out a couple weekends ago, tore it down, separated all the parts as best I could. Started trying to dig into what was wrong with what was going on. Got my lifters in here in the oil so that they don't tick when I put them back on, keep them lubricated. Took the heads. These were sent to a machine shop and had new valves put in. We machined new valves, put in stock intakes, and we put in upgraded machine. I believe stainless steel is what they machine these out of. So filled these up with water, blew air about 120 psi through the back and through the exhaust ports, and verified I had no bubbles, so all the seats are good on both of these. So I still got to clean the surface area up to put it back together. Intake was pretty gross. Cleaned all the ports out. These were caked in oil, but there's not really thick oil in anything else. It was really clearly there was oil getting by the pistons somewhere. That was dirtying up the whole intake. To the bare block, I got a couple more accessories sitting over on that side, serpentine, belt pulley, stuff like that. I was thinking about reusing this, but really you probably can't see it very well, but the scoring, vertical scoring, is pretty bad. On almost all the cylinders there's vertical scoring. Nothing that your nail can go over, but these sleeves really aren't fixable. So anyways, pulled the pistons out. So here is a broken part of the piston where the leak by was getting. So this piston broke right on the ring landing. So this little piece is just kind of floating in there and letting oil by and letting air by as things move, but so there's my imbalance. The thought is that the tune was so bad that it was misfiring to the point where these rings swelled from heat, closed up, and then started to bend and broke in here. It's either that or a manufacturer defect, but definitely probably tune related. I was a tune tester to start with, so the tune ran for about 6 months. and then it started giving me issues. So yeah, moving on. July 4th just passed. Got a great deal on a new engine block from Toyota. So had some discounts through July 4th and got this engine block. Just arrived today for $2,600. So came with everything, new pistons, crank, the whole short block. So I think for me, local dealerships and other dealerships were saying about $3,800. So I feel like I got a decent deal on it. I could have bought a used engine. A lot of people were saying just go with a used engine. Problem with that is, I mean, what are you putting in there, right? What did it come out with? What did the guy before you do? They were ranging anywhere from $4,000 to $7,000, from 30,000 miles to 100,000 miles. So still very expensive for a used engine, and definitely a lot more simple. Just pull it out, put the new one in, and hopefully it runs for another 100,000 plus miles. But I like to know what I have, and $2,600 wasn't too bad. So I am going to replace the clutch and the flywheel with a Centriforce. Have it hidden away down here. Still need to get everything cleaned up and garage prep for the room to rebuild. But this looks really nice as far as the clutch goes. It's apparently got ball bearings up in here. Kind of see them up in there. And new clutch and flywheel is in there as well. So we're gonna try this out with the supercharger. I hear superchargers, sometimes people slip their factory clutches because they can't handle it. This truck is re-geared at 529, and it's a manual. So I think the re-gear and the axles helped mine not slip. So, but we're gonna go ahead and upgrade it while we're in there. Throwout bearing, I believe, was making a little noise every now and then. So got the new throwout bearing. It came with the kit for the new clutch. So I already have that in. But yeah, the plan is to take the Jeep, get it outside, free up this whole area, take the old block off of the stand, put the new one on, set it up, and begin. One thing delaying me right now is, I believe all I'm waiting on is the gasket set. The master gasket set, got that on July 4th sale as well. It was about 240 bucks. New head gaskets and all the gaskets to replace throughout the whole engine. So pretty good deal on that for around $240. But it's on back order, so I got to call by the end of the week, see when that'll be arriving. So in the meantime, I will be cleaning this up, getting the space prepped, and doing kind of like a DIY. I have all the procedures from Toyota to reassemble this properly. So I'm gonna go over basically a whole rebuild. I already got a couple of things, and 271 Loctite is required for some of the bolts in there. One 207B 3 bond is a gasket required. I got two of those because it did look like there was a couple procedures you know, put it in quite a few spots, so hopefully I have enough there. Crow's foot for up by the heads. There's somewhere to get in. That's hard to get to, so we'll have to torque there. Paint markers, new head bolts, of course, with new washers. Whole serpentine kit. So this should have all of the belts and idler pulleys, or not belts, but idler pulleys, and oh, it does have belts. So yeah, there's tension and idler pulleys. So it is recommended if you're going to replace one, to replace the whole set. So I'm just going to go ahead and do that while I'm in there. And then oil can, because we're going to have to do little spots of oil here and there. We are going to need some injector lube just for when we put together the injector O-rings and start to mess with that. So that's what I'll be using. I didn't have a torque wrench that went down low enough in the lower range. Yeah, 10 to 45 foot-pounds. So I do have one for the larger ranges and mid-range, so to get that. So this is a Pro Charger, already disassembled front end, and to get all that out. So yeah, so stay tuned. I'm planning on doing a full how-to DIY, full torque and procedure, everything to rebuild a 3.5 liter 2GR-FKS out of Tacomas, or I think they're Incentive minivans. And I will show the whole reinstall process. I didn't really think about filming all this and going through the procedures until I really started looking around. I couldn't really find any videos of other people that really got into these motors. Most people were just kind of buying used and slapping those back in. But you know, since I couldn't find anything, figured I'll do something and put it in. So I wish I kind of thought of it when I was taking it all out. Unfortunately, I don't have that. But the reinstall process is just going to kind of be working backwards. So I think you'll be able to follow if you're trying to remove one. Removing's the easy part. You just pull everything off. Start, you know, disconnecting. Just kind of, I started with disconnecting trying to get the fan out. So pulled the supercharger off, which was just, you know, supercharger's pretty simple. You just have a radiator in the front to cool the air. Just have a couple tubes come over to the supercharger. Kind of pull that off, and then pull out the radiator, fan. That frees up space for the motor to pull out. Then I just went around, started disconnecting as much, or all the connections. I did pull out, you can see right here, there's a wire right here that is out. That was all the way in the back. I was trying to pull that out, and yeah, it just, wires came out. So I will be soldering. I already have the new connector with a whip, so I'll be soldering that back together. So once all the wire loom is disconnected, starter is removed, kind of threw that over. Then I took out all the bolts on the bell housing, which most of them were fairly easy except for the 3 up top right there. Mainly the 2 up top. Those were a bitch. What some people do is they run an extension all the way to the rear and they'll loosen it with a whole bunch of extensions. I got to it from the side. You can kind of get in through the wheel well area right here, and you can get one of them going. And then I also popped underneath here and came up from the underneath, and I had a swivel socket, I believe 2 of them, and kind of got it brought out toward the side, and then one extension got me over, and then I could work those out. So those are going to be one of the biggest pains, I think, of this whole process of putting it back together and trying to torque it correctly. But to get the exhaust out, had to pull the exhaust parts off. So that's, again, starters out, so just unbolting some stuff from the exhaust. It's fairly easy. And then once all that's done, there are 2 bolts here and here, and on the other side 2 more. So there's 4 bolts in total. I think they're actually up here, but they're all that's holding the mounts on. So you don't have to take these. There's a couple other ones to the frame down here. You don't have to take these out, just those 4. So you can see they're still on here. So I didn't take it off here or anything. So this is where those 2 bolts go. So once that's off, this is free. And then when it was all built, when all the heads and everything and the intake was still on, I got this Harbor Freight engine hoist attachment. It's got these 4 brackets. So this was obviously mounted on the center. So put a bracket on the stud, put the original nut down on there, and then another bracket here, and then I put a bracket back here. I think I bought my own bolts with washers that went in there. I want to say 14 millimeter. I'd have to double check, but here and then here. So those were my 4 points, and then I was able to hoist it up. Since I have a 6-inch lift on the truck, the hoist wouldn't really go high enough, so I did have to take the tires off and lower the whole front end down to the ground almost, and then I was able to barely get it over. Got a little dent here getting it out. Once it was out, tore it down. So stay tuned for rebuild.